Hi, this is Six String Steve. Welcome to my channel. Alright, got a friend's guitar. This is Carolyn's guitar that her son gave her, and it's got some signatures on it. That looks like Don Dokken. He's the lead singer for Dokken, the rock band from the 80s. This, at first I thought it said Striper, but I think it's Stripped, and I'm not familiar with who that is, the band. This looks like, you can see Nelson. I believe that's Matthew Nelson, because it looks like it has the crossed T right here and the M. Matthew Nelson, he's one of the sons of Ricky Nelson, the famous singer from back in the 60s, 70s, and even 50s, I guess. He was an actor too. And Matthew and Gunnar Nelson had the band Nelson. They were big back in the early 90s. This is Mark Torian. He's the lead singer, Mark Torian. This says Bullet Boys. They were a band that had some success back in the, I'd say, early 90s as well. Late, maybe 89, 90, 91, something like that. And I'm changing the strings for Carolyn. She asked me, and I said, yes, I definitely will do that for you. Got some good strings here. D'Addario. They are the light, custom light gauge. So those are really light, easy to play strings. This is a Lauren brand guitar. I've never heard of that brand, but I'm sure it's pretty good. It looks like it's a pretty decent built guitar. So I'm gonna get started on it, changing the strings here. First thing I do is remove the old strings. I have a string removal tool here, very handy. You can find these in most music stores. You just put it on the tuner key here, and put it on this one. I already got the one of the strings off. This, like that. Just turn it. Easy peasy. Turn it a few times. Unwind it off of the post. Right here, there's a hole that the end of the string goes in, and then it wraps around this post. And once you get it loosened up enough, you then take the string off. I'm not going to go through all of the strings and show you that, but just to give you an idea, these tools are very handy to use. Next thing I'll do, once I get the strings totally off of the guitar, usually on mine, that's a great opportunity to clean all the dust and stuff off of areas like this is the bridge. You get a lot of dust that settles up under here on the bridge and on the body, right below the strings, around the posts, and under where the strings are up here. This is called the headstock. This is the neck, and the top of the neck is the neck is actually here. The fingerboard is up here, frets, and this is called the nut right here. These are usually made out of plastic or sometimes bone material. And then after I do that, after I put the strings on, I kind of tune it by ear real quick, and then I use a actual tuner to, there you go, this is a chord. I use a battery operated tuner right here to tune up the guitar. I did want to add, this is how I usually do it. I'll put the guitar down on the floor, maybe like that, and then from behind I can do the strings like this. And that one's missing. Real easy. You just hold the guitar and turn it like that. Keep turning them. You can go to the next one like that. You don't have to keep turning until it totally comes off of it. You get it to a certain point to where maybe it's wrapped around it like once, and then you just take it and pull it off with your fingers. So pretty easy process. This one is at the point now to where I'm about to pull it off, and you can see how that works. It just, you know, you get Get it loose enough, you can just start pulling on the string above it like this and kind of unwrap it a little bit further, and then it just pops right out of that hole. You can see the hole through the little tuning post right there. Gotten all the strings off of the posts up here. Now the next step is to pop out these right here. You pull them off with some needle nose pliers just underneath the pin and pop it out just like that. See? Very simple process. Then the end of the string comes out. It's got a little piece that holds it in right there. It's just a little brass spool looking piece, and you can see how the string is attached to that. It just wraps around it, the core string in there, and then these bronze strings are wound around that core string that's inside there. And if you look at a string up close, I don't think you'll be able to focus on it, but they are wound. It's actually wound around another string, the large strings, until you get to your smaller strings. See, it's just like a one string by itself. It doesn't have the wrapped around string on it or wound string around it. Now I did notice that two of these popped out very easily. Usually they hold a little tighter, but those just popped out really. They were kind of loose in there. Pop out like that. See, like pulling a tooth. And after removing the old strings, I usually just hold them together like this, and then wrap them around and through, loop them through a few times like this. There's really nothing else you can do with these but just toss them in the trash. I do the cleaning. I just wipe them down, just mainly just getting dust off of the hard to reach areas while the strings are on. You can't reach some of these places on the guitar, so just kind of wipe that off, and I'll start putting on the new strings now. These D-Darios, like I said, these are good strings. This has a little pull tab. You do that, and you're going to have separately packaged strings inside. Sometimes they're in their own little individual sleeves. Looks like these are all in one sealed plastic package right here. So tear that open, and it does give you information about the strings also on this package as well. If you want to look at that real quick. They're color coded. There they are. They're all just kind of wound together, which a lot of times you don't see it like this. You usually see them, like I said, each little string in its own little paper. A lot of times they're in a paper sleeve, little square, looks like this, but it's just paper thin, and you pull them out. But these are all just wound together and inside the one package. As you can see, they are color coded. If you need help with, which string to put on what positioning, they show it on here on the package. But I've been doing this for many years, and I usually just can look at them and see which is the thin E string and the thick E string, and then all the ones in between. You just go in a row and put them on. So I've unwound the E and the A string here. I'm going to start with the E. This is your thick string, and the thickest gauge string. I'm going to put that on, start putting that on right now. What I usually do, well, what you have to do is put the end, this end that's got the little spool shaped piece right here. It'll go down in there, and this pin will hold it down inside this hole right here in the bridge. The holes go through the bridge. So what I do is I push that down in there. I usually put the tip of the spool, once I barely get it in there, I follow it up with the pin so that the the pin is right up next to it, so it'll hold it good. Because if you don't, if you feed it way down in there like this, and then you put the pin in, you're going to have all this extra room, and that can make the strings slide and go out of tune. So I keep this as close as possible. That's just my theory. I don't know if that's a fact, but it seems logical. So I keep this as close as I can to the tip of the pin right here, like this. It's kind of hard to show you. Then I push it down really hard with my thumb, and it should stay in there pretty good. You'd think it would, you know, all these years I've never seen one just like pop out and go flying. But when you're not used to stringing and putting new sets of strings in, that's always in the back of your mind. At least it was always in the back of mine for a while when I was first doing this process. But I've never seen one ever do that. I mean, unless for some reason it's loose. Like I said, there was a couple that were kind of they came out really easy when I pulled them out. I think it was the A and the G. And so anyway, there's the first one. And I'll just go through, do all of them just like that. And then once I get to that point, I will show you what's next. Just thought I'd give you a closer look at this. So that goes in there. The pin goes right in behind it. Kind of slotted. See that little cutout? That goes against the string. You don't want to put it in like this. You want it around like this, so the string is kind of against that slotted area of the pin. Like that. And just push it down in there. And I kind of pull up on it. See, it pulled it out. You don't want that string hanging way down, pushed way down in there like an extra inch or half inch. You want it up against this pin, the end of it. The end of the string against the tip of the pin and up inside. Just to give you a closer look at what I was talking about earlier, I put the pin right up to the end of it, end of the string, and push it in. See, it's actually pushing it in. You want it right up against it. So at this point we start stringing the new strings into the posts here. Pull it through. Now what you want to do is pull it through enough to where you can wrap the string around the post at least a couple of turns. You don't want to do too much and you don't want to do too little. So I bring it to where the string is off of the body about that much. I don't know if you can tell. See that? That should give me enough string to wind around as I turn it. And another thing, you want your strings to wind on this side. You want them to wind from the inside around like this. So these are actually going to be wound, if you think about it, you'll be turning the post counterclockwise. The other three over here are going to go from the inside and out that way. So over here, they go from this side of the post around this way. Over here, they go clockwise. Again, use the string tool here and just put it on here and start turning it. You don't want the string to pop up over the piece right there. Sorry, I'm trying to. Then at a certain point, when it starts getting tight enough, you can hold it on the notched out part of the nut right here. And so I'm going to turn it, turn it, turn it. And it's got one, it's going around once, and you can kind of move that up a little bit on the post. Reposition that. Don't poke yourself in the eye, that will not feel good. No, so I've got this one, and I don't tighten it all the way up. I just get it tight enough to where it'll hold on there. And as you can see, I've got it wrapped around there about 2 times. You could even go a little bit more than that. Got the second string on. You can see it's about 2.5 wraps. So that's good. Third string is on. And now that the first three strings are on, the E, A, and the G, we're going to move over to the other three, and the G will go here through this slot eventually. You know, it'll rest right there on the nut, and it will go to this top nut here. Then the B will go here, and then the E, the smallest string, will go into this one. So you'll want to go, after you go the large E, the A, E, A, D, and then you'll go up here, yeah, up here. So after this one, you go to this one, and then come back this way. And remember, on this side, you want the strings to go clockwise around, like so. So the tuner will turn this way, and this will wrap from the inside, which I call, well, the left. If you're looking at it this way, it's the left, and go around clockwise. Another thing I like to do is inspect the screws that are holding on the tuners back here. Sometimes you could have some that are coming loose, and you want to tighten those up before putting on your strings. But all of these look pretty tight. And that's it. You get a bunch of strings that have to be clipped off. I use the needle nose pliers and clip these short up here on top of the posts. Clip all that extra hanging string off, and then I tune it up. The last thing I do after I get the strings on and tuned up, I clip off the extra strings that are hanging out, and then I bend those under so they don't snag on something, or, you know, scrape your finger or arm or hand against those. Those can really hurt if those pieces are sticking straight out after you clip off the strings. So that's kind of what I do, bend them down. Carolyn came by, I showed her her guitar. I'm going to take it to her. She's parked down the road from us here in the RV park that we're staying at, and I'm going to take that to her here in a little while. Tuned it all up, played it for her, and it sounds great. She was pretty happy, so she surprised me with this gift. And there's a funny story behind this. Well, I think it's funny, or very coincidental thing happened. I checked an email today from D'Addario, this same guitar string company, and there was an email for a contest entry to win a set of these XT. Wait, I'm holding that the wrong way. These XT strings right here that you see that I have in my hand. So that was a very funny coincidence to me that I get a gift from her. She gave this set of strings to me. These are also acoustic strings. They're a brand, or not a brand, but a type that I've never seen before, these XTs. Except when I opened that email today, and there was a contest to win a free set of these strings from D'Addario. How funny is that? Alright, so hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps you out. Ask me any questions you want down below, and I'll try to answer them. And everybody, have a great day, and keep rocking.